I'm excited about this opportunity along with everyone else, but of course we're looking to go finish the job. And I know you guys have a lot of questions in regards to last week as well as this week, so I'll open up the floor.
Just look ahead, Steve, into just the big challenge that Patrick Mahomes offers you guys.
Well, it's definitely a challenge, and not only him. You look at Kelsey, you talk about two first ballot Hall of Famers there. We definitely have prepared and ready. It's different things that we have to do. Number one, he's doing a tremendous job really extending plays. We talked all week. It's two plays within one down, when the ball snaps, and then once he starts to scramble. So he's phenomenal, the best I've ever seen for just, buying time, winning with his feet, and getting the ball where it needs to go down the field.
That there's a lot of improvisation between those two, Mahomes and Kelsey. When two players have that, what can you do on defense? I mean, it seems like any sort of set plan can be foiled by ad-libbing.
They do ad-lib, and they do a great job of it. But we still have to have a great plan. We still got to execute and finish. When they start to ad-lib, we got to do a great job of really plastering the man within our zone and really straining to make sure we finish the rep.
What's so unique about their relationship that they know exactly where the other one is going on the field? Have you seen a relationship between a quarterback and a tight end?
It's with anything, it's time. You build a strong relationship over time, and they seem to be in sync with one another in regards to Mahomes could be going to his right, and Kelsey really is going to his right as well, and he's throwing the opposite way. So, and they're always on point with one another. So that's the point that we're trying to emphasize in practice, is that the down is never over. You got to be ready to extend it down once Mahomes starts scrambling.
To have somebody like Mooney in the secondary who's been through this and won a Super Bowl?
It's great, his experience being there before. I'm sure he shared that with the players. But the key thing with all of us is not to get so caught up with the emotions of this game to where it overwhelms us. We got to go out there and execute and have, a calm demeanor about ourselves, but also a sense of urgency.
Fred and Nick spoke yesterday about how they felt that effort and pursuit was an issue for the defense in the NFC Championship game. What do you attribute that to? What do you feel that was?
I think you really have to ask them individually. Collectively, as a team, I can tell you, as a defense, it's unacceptable. All right, and we talked about that. I wish I could tell these guys on play 4, on play 27, this is what's going to happen. You don't know. So we got to make sure that we play every down as if it's going to be the difference in the ball game. And you could see on those two particular plays, it wasn't to our standard. And those guys understand and know that. And quite honestly, it was embarrassing.
Screen game and short passes the Chiefs like to run. What makes them so successful with that, and how do you kind of counteract that?
Well, one is just getting the ball out quickly, and into their playmakers' hands, and once again, just trying to get things on the perimeter with Kelsey, and then having those lead blockers. So we got to do a great job setting the edges, as we talked about all year on the perimeter, whether it's the toss sweep, jet sweep, or the actual screen game itself. So that's something that we've been emphasizing.
Did you feel like last week that you mentioned that the linebackers are not necessarily the D line setting the edges, but getting more vertical up the field? Did you feel like that was better, or was it roughly the same as the week?
We had some spurts where we did it well, and then we showed some where we're inconsistent. And it's just really about trying to pull the trigger. Sometimes on those perimeter games, it's not anything dealing with the scheme. It's just that individual ready to go make a play, and you just got to pull the trigger.
How does Andy Reid use motion and things like that differently maybe than other coaches, and how much of a challenge is that?
I don't want to say what he used differently. I think all offensive coaches try to create different dynamics with the motion. It could be trying to get a receive off press. It could be really trying to, if you're a big man team, trying to disrupt your timing for who you have within the bunch or stacks formations. They do a lot of that, and we have to do a great job with our communication, making sure that we're on the same page.
You speak of the emotions going into the Super Bowl and just controlling them. You're about to take this trip over to Las Vegas, and it's an entire week of media, publicity, and basically a celebration. So how do you keep these players focused before they even leave Santa Clara on what's happening next Sunday?
Kyle does a great job of that from a standpoint of painting the picture that needs to be painted each week. This is a normal week for us. You know, our approach is as if we're playing this week. You did mention there is somewhat of a circus once we get there with the media and all that stuff, and having to go through the fanfare of that process the early part of the week. I don't really consider it to be a celebration until after we win. And we'll get our guys locked back in on Wednesday as we approach and get ready for practice.
What do you think of the Chiefs' run game? It seems like it's become more of a featured part of their attack.
Pacheco, I think he's phenomenal. The guy runs hard. I mean, between the tackles, outside. You know, we talked all week. You know, we got to game tackle this guy. He's not going to go down on first contact. A lot of respect for him. Just watching him over the years, or last year, and then also just seeing what he's done this year. It's just, you know, he's phenomenal.
Steve, what are you seeing from Kinlaw? It seems like he does a nice job, or has done a nice job, at protecting Greenlaw and Warner's legs and just absorbing the interior guys. How's he looked in the last couple games to you?
I thought he's performed well. He's been doing a great job for us all year. I'm happy about his performance, looking for that consistency in the Super Bowl. When you talk about the guys up front, you know, we do have to do a great job of keeping the double teams off, but likewise, our linebackers got to do a good job of getting downhill and getting the double teams off as well. So it's hand in hand in what we're trying to do with the D-line and the linebackers.
How would you describe Mooney's personality? I'm good. How do you describe Mooney's personality and just kind of what type of guy he is?
Mooney is, man, he's real consistent, and he has somewhat of a laid-back demeanor, but extremely focused. All right. I was watching tape yesterday. I was telling the coaches, you know, you can tell somewhat the excitement of going against his old team because you could see a different gear yesterday and just how he was going about his just technique and running to the ball and things like that. So I love Mooney. I love his preparation and what he brings each and every week. You know, second team All-Pro, Pro Bowl player, well-deserving.
What's challenging about stopping a run against a team that uses 2 and 3 tight end formations?
When you talk about challenging, I think rather one tight end, 2 tight ends, it's challenging as a whole just because of what we just talked about with the running back. They create different dynamics when they come to 13. And to be quite honest, what you just mentioned sometimes is not really the case. They get in at 13, all of a sudden they spread you out and it looks like 11. So you may try to bring in an extra lineman, all of a sudden now you're really defending 11 personnel. So we got to really get a feel for what they're doing throughout the course of the game and continue to try to stay on schedule. Go ahead.
John Lynch said earlier that Mooney has an innocence to him. Do you think that contributes to his laid-back personality, and do you see that?
Yeah, I do. You know, a true innocence, but I still say he has that dog in him once he gets on the field. I love his demeanor once he gets out there. He's physical. He's tough. He fits our DNA for sure.
How many films do you want to watch in a game of this magnitude? Because Mahomes threw 14 picks this year, but he hasn't thrown one in like 4 or 5 games. Is there anything that you've seen that he's changed from early in the year to late in the year?
No, I think, you know, you take your time to really dig through a lot of stuff. You know, we watched a lot of tape as coaches together and separate, you know, going back to previous Super Bowls to whether, you know, it's Tampa, it's us, previous years. You know, this system hasn't changed, their system hasn't changed. So you try to figure out things that may have hurt you in the past and, you know, feeling like they may, you know, try to exploit that. So you watch a lot of tape.
From the defensive coordinator's point of view, when you're looking at the 49ers offense like you did last year, they obviously have a lot of talented guys at skill positions. Where does Trent Williams come into play when you're making a defensive scheme game plan?
One of the best tackles to play the game. I think first ballot Hall of Famer. You definitely have to know exactly where he is in the standpoint of trying to create different matchups, stunts to his side, different things. You know they're going to run the ball there. When it comes to pass pro, He can definitely take care of the best rusher one-on-one by himself. So I don't know how much you can really do to avoid him in that situation. You just know he's there and, run the opposite.
Obviously, the Ravens, had an elite unit, and their defensive coordinator is getting a job in Seattle. I think people have an instinct to say, copy game plans. And how much validity is there to you see a team do something well on defense? Do you copy it, or is it something where you see what try and fits into your scheme from that?
I think it's a combination of both. And we just talked about how much tape you watch. So you go back, and as you're watching tape, you're trying to figure out what created problems for them. Whether it's against the Ravens, whether it's last year, whether it's 2 years ago, and then you take that data, and you try to incorporate that into what you do schematically. So I think you're right. It's a combination of both. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.